Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my Montreal Canadiens franchise mode series here on NHL 18, and today we go through the remainder of the off-season in preparation for what will hopefully be a fairly eventful season for us moving forward. And we're going to get right down to business. I'm not sure what we're looking at here cap-wise. Brandon Davidson can be let go again. Malcolm Karlsson has to be re-signed. Benson, Nick Shore, and Tierney. Okay, so we will focus on the UFAs. Let's focus on the UFAs primarily. Oscar Mahler had a great season. We're going to let him go, though, for now, just in case we need that spot. So Shore, Karlsson, and Tierney. Karlsson's looking for 1.9. Shore's looking for 1.7. Tierney, how about 1.8? 1.9. You know what? I'm cool with that. I am cool with that. I am, though, going to try... Actually, I won't do the 85% trick, but, you know, I will try to save a little bit of money. Just here and there. Here, we'll even knock that down to 1.65. And then Tierney will knock that down to 1.8 as well. And it was Shesterkin, the other UFA, that needs to be signed. He's not looking for that much right now either. So we should have no problem re-signing our current UFAs. RFAs, we might have a tad bit of trouble. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not going to be completely surprised if we run into a little bit of cap trouble. I mean, this team's always going to be pretty close to the cap. Shesterkin declined because he wants more money. Now, we kind of treated him as a rental. We did have to give up a little bit to actually acquire him. Let's see what we're at cap space-wise. $3.5 million, right. Okay, so again, UFAs, he is the only one that we have to worry about right now. So we do have a little bit of extra money to spend. And how about we hand you 1.9? How does 1.9 million sound? And then RFAs, we got McNiven to worry about. We got a couple of players to worry about. And then unsigned players, of course, we have quite a few guys from that last draft. And again, not the greatest of drafts. I'm still a little bit disappointed in how that went, especially in some of those later rounds. Granted, you saw at the time a lot of other teams were struggling too, but I could have used that little bit extra. Now, Shesterkin is being a little bit difficult here. Like, just a little bit difficult. And that's kind of frustrating. So we'll see what we can do here. Again, there's a good chance I trade him and give McNiven the shot at the backup situation. Which, I mean, right now, you could have argued that, or you could argue that I should have taken a goalie in that last draft because we're down to just McNiven and Howland, and we do kind of need that goalie for the future. But that's something that we can look to prioritize here in the next draft. What if we go up to, say, 2.1 just to get him to sign? And from there, let me take a look at RFAs. So Simon Bork should still... He's not on a two-way deal. That complicates things. Gerard is not on a two-way deal either. You guys are insane. Like, you guys are insane. Geeky wants a two-way deal, though. So we can re-sign him. We'll look to bring back Will Bitton as well. Martin, of course, we are going to let go of. No point in qualifying him. Benson, two-way deal, please. Thank you very much. And then for centers, we're good. So if Shesterkin continues to be a bit of a hassle here, we're just going to let him go. Which, I mean, his trade value, it's not like he has tremendous trade value. But obviously letting someone like that go for free would kind of suck. But that's exactly what I'm going to do. Because I have other players I have to worry about re-signing here. And I'm not in the mood. If he thinks he can get upwards of 2.25 million or whatever the hell he thinks he can get, go ahead, try to get it. Nope, I don't want to offer him a contract. I want him gone. There we go. And we'll look to bring in Michael McNiven, who is willing to accept a two-way deal, so that is fairly helpful. From there, we have, again, just a couple of RFAs. Actually, just Bork and Gerard. So we should be able to sign both of them, no problem. I'm all right with handing them both 2-year deals. Now, of course, cap space-wise, we're not really looking at a whole hell of a lot because our team is basically locked in. The only thing I'm intrigued by is potentially bringing in prospects, as everybody accepted. Beautiful. It does suck to have to lose Shesterkin for free, but again, he was a rental. Yeah, you could argue he should have been more than a rental, especially considering he stepped in when Carey Price was struggling in the final. Or not in the final, the semifinal. Our final game, at least, you could argue he should have played that, is what I was alluding towards. Anyway, let's take a look here at the free agent list. Of course, we're not going to be in play for Anthony Mantha. The main thing here is going after certain prospect goaltenders. So let's take a look. Jake Ottinger is actually there and listed as a backup. He's looking to get paid, though, as is Shesterkin and Ilya Sorokin. Yes, I added all three players. I mean, there's really nobody. You could argue I need two goaltenders because I need a depth goalie. So, is this Stan Kaigorodov? No, it's Sergei. Wow, I was fairly confident there. So I could go for Hamalainen and Hill, but they're both just such low overalls that I don't really think that's going to work out too well. So when it comes to goaltending, again, we need two goalies. Halinen's going to be the AHL starter, so I need an AHL level backup and a fifth string goaltender. So I'm looking at some of the names here. You got Jared Coro, Jeremy Smith, Nick Ellis, Casimir Kaskisuo is there, Leland Irving. I mean, we should probably go with one of the 74 overall guys. We could bring in Jared Coro. I was going to say as a veteran presence, he's only 29. Jeremy Smith, though, might be a decent enough veteran presence. We'll look to bring him in for 1 year. See if he's willing to do that. And again, we need a goaltender listed as other, which is perfect, to be that guy just in case of injury. You know, to be that guy who is there just in case of injury. So Halverson, Wedgwood, Bachman, Dustin Tokarski, we could bring him back into the fold. Is that Chet Pickard? It is. I assumed it wasn't Calvin, but you never know for sure. You know what? Yeah, let's bring back Dustin Tokarski. We'll bring Tokarski back to Montreal. On defense, do we have any prospects that snuck their way through? It's not really looking like it. I'm not sure how many defensive prospects we're really going to need. But Chris Bigras is there, looking to get paid. At this point, Nicholas Hansen's 26. Lozon is there, who is a top 6 defenseman. So as much as I wouldn't mind bringing in Jeremy Lozon, that's not really a fit. And then you got Ruinen. It's pretty much the last option there. Jordan Subban's there. So there's really nobody there on defense. Right wings, you got Mantha Tamirnas. There we go. Low top 6, 55 overall at 20 years old. Nicholas Tamirnas. So we'll offer him the max deal just like Pittsburgh's doing. And we'll see if we can manage to sign him. Aside from that, that's pretty much the only guy we got to worry about with the right wings. Left wings, nobody really snuck through. A little bit surprising. And then again, someone like Carl Grundstrom, probably not worth going after. But maybe? Hold on, medium top 9 right wings. Was there anybody? Nobody great. Dzirkals would probably be the best bet. But we'll hold off. So then medium top 9 here. You got the two 23-year-olds, Grundstrom and Elnuik. You also have Gropp at 24 years old. Dennis Jan, also 24. So Grundstrom, he does want a one-way deal. So that's a little bit problematic. You got Hudson Elnuik as well. Who, you know what? We'll throw in an offer. It's a guarantee that Minnesota keeps him. Guarantee. But we might as well throw in an offer for him. And Carl Grundstrom. I think I'm going to send an offer out for him. And we'll see how that goes. 2 years. I'll double check to see what Toronto can afford. And there is another player, Vladimir Semin, who made it through, 19 years old, 56 overall. We'll do the same thing. We'll throw a max deal at him and hope for the best. Mark Jankowski is there, as well as someone named Emery and Bouchard. 2 low top 6 players. Same thing with them. There's no guarantee that they'll sign here, but we might as well go for them. So aside from that, we are pretty much good to go. I just need to check Toronto's cap situation to try and make sure that I can afford to sign Carl Grundstrom. To be honest, I didn't even see how many contract spots we have. So we're at 41. We're at 41. So let me double check here. Toronto has plenty of cap space. Plenty. We cannot ice them out of getting Carl Grundstrom. So let's just double check here. How many offers did we send out? 7. So we're good. We're good. We just need to hear back, and if someone declines, then we can, sign players that we just drafted. So let's go ahead and move forward, and we'll see who we hear back from. And then we're pretty much good to go. It's just going to be sorting out the NHL and AHL level. Emery signed, Tamirnas. Bouchard went to Philly. Semin signed as well, so 3 out of 4. That's not bad, bringing in prospects. Jeremy Smith declined. Tokarski accepted. Elnuik declined. All right, so we do still need to bring in another goalie. So we do have Tokarski. It's weird that he didn't want to accept the two-way deal, even though he was willing to accept the two-way deal. So Jeremy Smith, I'm not sure what's going on there, buddy. But, have fun just sitting here, not having a job. I suppose that can be fun, too. Let's go ahead and sign Jack Campbell for the Lols, shall we? Maybe Jack Campbell can revitalize his career in Laval. Maybe. And once we hear back, Shattenkirk for a first and Humphrey. No, thank you. I can't believe the game's saying we can even afford that. I imagine once I kind of optimize the roster, we'll be able to afford it. But still, caught me a little bit off guard. As Campbell accepts, beautiful. We are off to the next season. So definitely moving forward into next year, because I didn't take a goalie this year, we're going to have to, get one of those prospect, project defensemen. Defenseman. I was thinking defenseman because of Justin Braun. I'm sorry. We're going to need one of those goaltenders. I mean, of course, the bright side is we have Carey Price. At least on paper, that's a bright side. Wasn't much of a bright side in the last postseason. So, yeah, maybe now is the right time to start hunting out these goaltending prospects to, and eventually find Carey's replacement. Who knows? I talked about at the end of the episode where we lost to Toronto. Maybe we're going to be trading Carey sooner rather than later. Obviously, I'm not moving him this offseason, but he has a lot to prove. He does. He has a lot to prove. And, we'll see. We'll see what happens with them. But, yeah, without a doubt, you could argue, too, the one downside, too, is in that last draft, there was that flurry of medium elite goaltenders that we missed out on. All because I was really focused on getting skaters in that draft for no particular reason. To be honest, my thought process was, well, we still have Carey Price, and I know I'm not going to trade him, so I'm not yet going to worry about a goalie prospect. And that came back to really bite me in the ass. I tried to get those better forward and defensive prospects, those picks, that didn't quite work out in a lot of instances. But again, we have time. We have time. For all we know, there'll be a medium elite goalie prospect that we'll sign next year off the free agent list. Now, as far as goaltending goes, again, it's good to go. McNiven's not listed as a backup, but he will be the backup. Defense. This was the interesting thing, and I mentioned it. Odds are Jake Gardiner is out. Quentin Hughes will be with Victor Mete on the third pairing. So, yeah, we're about to clear up some cap space because Juleson, Nurse is still going to be with Dumba. So it's going to be Juleson and Ellis or Juleson and Gardiner. Regardless, we're about to clear $5 million in cap space. So that's pretty nice. And down in the AHL, let's see, Lindsay. Ronnie Lindsay might still be down in the AHL. So let me take a look at their defense really quick. So by default, actually, I think that's our 6, right? So we have 6 defensemen right now. We have Numelin as a depth defenseman. So we need one more good defenseman and one more depth defenseman for that team. So let me take a look at who is worth signing. Of course, we do have a couple of players that kind of fit the bill. But like I mentioned, with the Finn that we took over the Canadian, Chuck McDonald, in the last draft, I would have preferred to draft McDonald because we could send him down to junior. We can't do the same right now. The unfortunate thing is right now Quentin Hughes is not looking for an extension. Nurse and Juleson are willing to sign. But again, we had a very similar situation with Dumba, and that turned around very, very quickly. So let's see here. Unsigned, we have our 2 top 4 defensemen. Winquist is, of course, Canadian. Salo, though, is not. So we could sign Salo and have him really be like the weak link of that defense. I mean, that would work out all right. Yeah, that would work. All right, so let's do that. We'll sign Salo. I'm still going to need one more depth player, though. So we'll sign him. I'm going to sign Winquist. That way he can play in junior and still kind of develop a little bit. So we'll do that. Again, right now, it's just a little bit of team management, but for the most part, we are good to go. And to be honest, I mean, if we trade Jake Gardiner or Ryan Ellis, that could be where that, goalie prospect comes in, and then we just simply move Tokarski or whoever the hell else, Campbell, later on. So again, we'll have to figure that out. But down in the AHL, let's just take another look really quickly. We'll go best lines again. It still has Numelin in there by default. And actually, Winquist, despite being 19, is not CHL eligible. Really? That kind of screws us over a little bit because I don't exactly want a medium top 4 defenseman just sitting there, but he and Numelin could act as the depth defenseman for the team. Yeah, he is straight to the AHL. All right, so it must be a late birthday there. So I guess we're good. So we'll take out Numelin. And is it going to be Salo or Winquist? I mean, we'll see. We'll put in Winquist for the moment. Let's see. Are we keeping the lefty-righty dynamic? Not really. So let's see here. So we got Girard and Bork as the top pairing. Jenks with Josh Brook. Smith with, I mean, it could be Winquist. It could be Salo. It doesn't really matter. And then Numelin is pretty much the other defensive option. So it's a 1-2 between Winquist and Salo for who gets ice time. Because there's really nobody I want to trade away here, unless I trade away Simon Bork, which I don't really want to do. I kind of like him as a depth option, and he is a pretty good offensive defenseman. So I guess for the moment, we'll start Greg Winquist in the lineup. And we'll keep an eye on him and Salo, and maybe try to do whatever we can to, get them like an even amount of games or whatever. That might be the best way to approach it. And actually, Hallinan, how old is he now? He is 23 years old now, so that's going to cause a couple of issues. And then forward-wise, we have Semin and Tamirnes as healthy scratches on this team right now. So let's take a look. Emmy, take it easy, pup. Take it easy. All right, so let's see. I mean, we technically have our 2 kind of depth players now, although we'd want them in the lineup. But again, that is the same problem that we, kind of had before, where we don't exactly want these extremely low overall players in the lineup. But really, we really got no choice. I mean, we'll put Semin in the lineup, obviously, being low elite instead of low top 6. So, yeah, we got Emery and Tamirnes as healthy scratches at the moment, which isn't bad. And then we also have Tim Bolig in the lineup for the first time. So that fourth line is looking a little bit weak. Not to mention, I do think we still have some players. We do still have some players unsigned that might be worth signing. We're up to 48 deals. Well, let's see. Unsigned, of course, we don't have any goalies. Defense is fine. And forwards, it's just a bunch of medium top 9 players that I'm not really too concerned about, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if they'll progress without being signed, but I mean, yeah, you can kind of tell how rough that last draft was. That's basically everybody that was right there. So we kind of have our gems from the last draft. So, I mean, really, it's just how do I want to approach the AHL lines? Again, the NHL lines are fine. It's just I got to move one player. The AHL lines, though, How good or bad do I want them to be? That is the question. Oldest players on the team are 23. Oh, so let's see. By the way, where is... I knew it. I was like, where the hell's Josh Norris? He's a third-line player. He's a third-line scoring player, but he's a third-line player nonetheless, who honestly should probably be on the second line. So, we have another situation to solve with Josh Norris, which we should be able to solve. I think the easy solution would probably be get rid of Melker Karlsson. Don't know if that's how I want to approach it, though, because here's the thing. Norris will probably be good enough, soon enough, to be a top 6 player. Like, he is going to be a legitimate top 6 player. You could argue that he is the natural replacement for a Brendan Gallagher, for example. And apparently Galchenyuk isn't too happy. He's down to an 83 instead of being like an 85, so we'll have to keep an eye out on him. Of course, he's a first-line player not playing on the first line. So, I mean, you could argue right now, have Norris replace Galchenyuk, because he's not going to be happy. Go figure, right? Galchenyuk not being happy in Montreal. So, we do have a couple of things to figure out. Again, so we have our 2 depth defensemen. We have our 2 forwards. It might just be worth signing somebody. Waiver eligible, no. Geeky is, though. Trying to think who it would be worth acquiring here. I'm going to take a look at the free agent list. We might bring in a veteran because I do want one more extra depth forward. So let's take a look here. Let's see. 2-way deals, forwards. So you got Yurko, Bertuzzi. And actually here, I'll just go to all really quick, and whoever's not asking for that much is the correct answer as far as who to sign. So we have Yurko again. Is Oscar Mahler still available? I don't think he is. Devin Setaguchi's available, though. Oddly enough. Let's see. Again, I could bring in somebody to kind of boost up the team. Oscar Mahler is available. I could bring him back. You know what? I think I'm going to. I'm going to bring back Oscar Mahler to bump up the rocket. And that bump up the rocket. That could describe so many things, none of which I really want to be thinking about right now. Or ever, really. But hey, whatever floats your boat, right? Again, yeah, recording this somewhat late, so that's... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm it's nothing but the best here. You've come to know this by now. When it comes to this point where it's just trying to figure out what we're going to do, I have no choice but to ramble my way through it. And you should be used to that by now. And if you're not used to it, and this is one of your first episodes, then boy, get ready. It's all downhill from here. Alright, so we got the trading block set. We need to set up scouting, which I'm almost tempted to just let EA do for me at this rate because it is so inconsistent. So let's see. We'll go... I guess we'll go a month on forwards. Maybe? It's whatever. We'll go a month. We'll go a month for forwards in the W. And we'll wait to hear back from Oscar Mahler. Hopefully he is willing to return. And again, we'll have some of those potential guys that are lower overall. They will be depth players. So there you go. Oscar Mahler is back. Welcome back. A big part of last year's cup-winning team. So we will go best lines. And we will take out Emery in favor of either Bolig or Semin. Bolig's medium top 6. Semin is low elite. You know what? I mean, we're going to go with the higher overall guy. So it'll be Semin, Emery, and Tamirna, 3 guys we just signed as our depth players, along with Salo and Winquist. So a lot of young talent as our depth players. It's a little bit risky. You can definitely argue that we should just be playing them, and you're not entirely wrong. Just flat out, you are not entirely wrong when you say, I mean, you're not wrong at all, really. I mean, that would be the right thing to do, would be to play them. So Lysician and Yaskalainen will be centers. So we're going to go, let's see. Geeky is listed as, wow, Geeky is listed as a fourth line guy. That could cause some morale trouble. We'll see. We shall see. Aside from that, though, I think we're pretty much good. Yeah, I think we're good. I'm going to have to change a couple of things. Well, actually, Bolig can kind of play center. So maybe we'll run with that. Yeah, that might work. So Farabee, Heino, Mahler, Vesalainen, Lysician, Bitten, Benson, Ikonen, Geeky, Yaskalainen, Bolig, and Stelio. And of course on defense, we'll actually take out Numelin. We'll take out Numelin, and here, just for the sake of it, we'll go with Salo because he's the better player right now. Better overall player right now, at least. Here we'll bump up Ty Smith to that next pairing. So again, Salo, a bit of a weak link. Bolig, a bit of a weak link. But we'll see what happens, and we can try to do our best here to actually get some playing time for these guys across the board. The big thing we're going to have to worry about is the morale of Morgan Geeky. Again, if it comes down to him getting pissed off, I'm going to trade him because our fourth line's pretty much set in stone. So he'll be gone at that point. And Joel Farabee, his continued improvement, again, you could argue right now, offensively, he is good enough for prime time. And again, you wouldn't necessarily be wrong. As far as what we're doing here, though, I mean, there's a good chance Galchenyuk just isn't going to be happy on this team anymore because he's not on the first line. And if we get rid of him, that means Josh Norris takes that spot immediately. And we also have to get rid of either Gardner or Ryan Ellis. So let's take a look here at some trade values. So for forwards, Galchenyuk, we can certainly get a decent return. We can get a better return for him than we could for just outright trading Norris. I mean, or Gallagher. But again, Gallagher's happy on the second line, and he had a really good season. Not that Galchenyuk didn't. He did. But I'm really worried about the morale for him. He had nearly a career year. 61 points. He had 63 in our first season with the team. And then on defense, Ellis has a bit more value than Gardner. So top pairing is definitely Dumba and Nurse. Second pairing, we have Juleson. Might make more sense to keep Jake Gardner. Well, to keep that lefty-righty dynamic, which I know some people are screaming at me about. And then the third pairing is Mete, who is a left-handed player, with Quentin Hughes, who is also a left-handed player, but I am willing to forgive it. So Ryan Ellis has that decent bit of value. He's a bit more expensive, but I think Ryan Ellis is on his way out. You could argue now is the right time to trade Geeky. Honestly, I mean, it's coming out of nowhere. But, I mean, it might be time for a little bit of a blockbuster, guys. It might be time. I mean, Galchenyuk is 5 years, $6 million. Again, for that top line, he's not going to break in. I mean, right now, it's either we trade Gallagher and hope that Galchenyuk's happy. And I know what you're saying, like, oh, just trade Karlsson. But again, Norris is going to improve so quickly. There's no point to trade a third liner when Norris is going to be a second liner before you know it, and we just come to this situation again. So, I mean, we're definitely going to have to look to make a move here. And goalies, I mean, it's pretty much my main target. It would be nice if someone was looking to trade a great goalie, like Danielson, for example. Nothing like an elite Swedish defenseman, right? Or Swedish defenseman, Swedish goaltender, anything. That is a reference to Nations United, which I'm still not entirely over. And you know what? Danielson might actually be our target here. just based on who other teams want to trade for prospect goaltenders. Which, what are the odds that we end up... Wow, enough goalies signed? Good Lord. What are the odds that we end up with a Swedish goaltender to replace Carey Price? From one inconsistent goalie to another, I suppose. Seems like the natural order. You got Kopetsky. They don't want to trade him, though. Carter Hart hasn't really worked out. I didn't see his overall, in fairness, but I just saw his trade value, and I'm like, oh, it must be a disaster. Vasilevsky, you got Richmond. He's a bit too good, though, at this point anyway. I mean, yeah, I think we're going to go talk to Arizona, which isn't the worst-case scenario, considering I am more than all right with sending players out west instead. So you have Henrik Danielson, and in this deal, again, I have to decide right now between Josh Norris and Alex Galchenyuk, and whether or not I think Galchenyuk will be happy on that second line. And I'm already concerned that he might not be. I know it says he's lost morale because of performance and getting eliminated, but he hasn't bounced back at all, and he's making $6 million. I think now's the time, guys. I got to admit, I think now is the time, and we give Josh Norris the keys and let him gallop after what he did last year. He's good friends with Jonathan Drouin, though. Guys, that's a really tough decision. Like, that is a really, really tough decision, but it's one that has to be made. I mean, the only other option is I'm looking at trading Michael Frolik to make a spot for Norris. But again, when you look at Frolik, he's the perfect third-line guy. So you know what? I'm not going to make a rash decision here. We pretty much have this team figured out. We know we're going to go after Henrik Danielson of the Arizona Coyotes to get that big-time project goaltender. We just have to figure out, I mean, I'm pretty set on getting rid of Ryan Ellis over Jake Gardner. And then offensively, it comes down to Galchenyuk, Gallagher, Norris himself, or Frolik. But again, like I said, when it comes to Frolik, there's no logic in it because, not Farabee, well, Farabee might be ready soon too. But Josh Norris is going to be second-line caliber in a couple months, potentially. So, we have a decision to make. And it comes down to, do we get rid of Norris himself, Gallagher, or Galchenyuk? And, I mean, if we get rid of Gallagher, that would really suck. Like, that would really suck. I don't want to get rid of anybody. But we have to. I want to keep that team together, but we have to make a spot now for Norris. And again, it's got to be a second-line spot. The only thing we could maybe do is, at this point, bump Melker Carlson to the fourth line for Tierney or Shore. I love the way the bottom six is set up right now, though. So you can see why I'm conflicted. So we are going to end this episode right here. I know it was more of a maintenance episode. There might not have been too many major events, but hey, damn it, people like to see the move, so there you go. But it'll give you guys a little bit of time to, give me your feedback on what you think we should do, and it'll give me a little bit of time to think as well in terms of what I want to do moving forward. So until next time, guys, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, feel free to hit that like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already to help support the video and the channel. Links to my Twitter and Twitch are in the description. Give me a follow on those platforms if you have not already. And I will see you guys in the next one. See you later.